All systems go. Clear for liftoff.
What is going on, SHIPIT Nation YouTube station? We're here Friday night in the MLB streets here. We got a 12-game slate. We got Coors Field on tap. We got a lot of loaded pitching. We got some cheap pitching. We got everything rocking over here. Hamwich, tonight's going to be a good night. Hopefully, it's better than the start. I ran the intro, forgot to hit go live. Me and Hamwich are sitting here thinking we're on air, and we are not, so that's the reason for the 4-minute delay, but nonetheless, we're here. We're live now talking baseball winners with the people. Hamwich, how's your week been, man? What's going on, brother?
Yeah, been a great week. Been on the road all week. Now back in the saddle back home. Talk some MLB winners. I got little Black Eyed Peas rolling, so it's feeling good. Hey, I think you're right. It's going to be a good slate. We got a weird core slate with the Pirates in there and got some good pitching. So looking forward to diving into it with all of our people that join us every Friday. So, yeah, let's dive right in.
Yeah, let's dive right in. Warren, what's up, brother? Gator Nation, Jan, Pogden, Michael, Toga, everybody in the chat. We appreciate y'all tuning in. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Helps us out a ton. We're I think we're at 7,000 subscribers. Just hit 7,000 subscribers, so we appreciate everyone there. We're going for 8K, going up, trying to get to 10K before NFL season, so we're going to need your guys' help. It's free to do. All it does is take your mouse, right, as Tambo says, drag it down, click the subscribe button, get notified every time we go live. Marley and Title did the MMA breakdown I saw earlier this afternoon, so that's already on this channel. We got the showdown shows coming up for, obviously, the Open going on, the golf tournament right now. We got you covered with everything over here, and if you are not a member yet, shipitnation.com. Join now. I believe you can use the promo code here. Let me throw it up. Fantasy Golf World Championship, right? FGWC15 gets you 15% off a monthly or annual plan only. Does not apply to the weekly or the sport specific, right? The PGA only or MLB only. Get all access, right? NFL, like I said, shortly around the corner there. So use that promo code. Last chance, 15% off annual or monthly plans, as you see up there on the screen. How much? We got 12 games to talk about. We got a loaded slate on tap. Coors Field. We got a lot of loaded pitching at the top in tough matchups. We got a lot of cheaper pitching in quote-unquote better matchups. Offense is pretty weak overall in general. Pretty fun slate on tap here tonight. Throw it over to you, man. Let's go pitching. Let's go 8K and above. We're going to start up at the top tier. I'm going to throw out a couple names for you. Number one, Luis Castillo. Hit on him at 8,600. And then the big ones, Hunter Green, Chris Sale, Freddie Peralta. Those three are kind of the main chalk, right? Chris Sale, Freddie Peralta, Hunter Green down at 8,300. Gets a matchup against these Milwaukee Brewers who have been pretty good. Obviously, my Brewers have looked pretty good all season long. Now get a matchup at home where Hunter Green does struggle with control issues at time. Obviously, he throws very hard. When you put the barrel on the ball, it tends to fly, so he does struggle with some home run concerns there. Nonetheless, 8,300, pretty good price tag there. He's going to get a lot of ownership. Chris Sale along and Freddie Peralta, those three are kind of the main guys up at the top. Everyone else in this range is pretty low owned in terms of the nature of the slate. Break it down for me. Those four that I threw out really are kind of the quote-unquote chalk of the slate up here at the top.
Yeah, real quick, got to give a shout-out to my boy, Trevor. Brian, appreciate that. Trevor, my beard, I go back and forth on whether or not I want to keep it, but hey, Ham likes the beard. Certainly appreciate it. But, yeah, this is a loaded pitching up top. My favorite of the night is going to be Chris Sale. Gets to take on this putrid Tampa Bay Rays team. And when I look at the last 14, look at the last 30 days, they just don't hit left-handed pitching, striking out right around 25%. ISO sub, .130. 5 homers over the last month. That's in 250 plate appearances. They're just not very good against left-handed pitching. We know what Sale can do. He's matchup proof, if you will, and he gets to take on a team that he's very familiar with in this Rays team. So Chris Sale is my favorite at the top. Next up for me is going to be Fastball Freddie. Love Fastball Freddie tonight. His strikeout upside is just through the roof. He's striking out, I believe, 30% from both sides of the plate. So the strikeouts are going to be there. Yeah, he's at 30% plus to both sides. So Freddie would be my second one, my second favorite in that range. Luis Castillo, I'm a little bit lower. I'm interested to hear what your take is. I mean, they got a good price on, but man, I just get scared, and I don't know what the reasoning is. Maybe I shouldn't be, but he got pushed back a night, and maybe you know why he got pushed back a night. But I always get scared of elbow tendonitis or something, something going on. So I'm going to be a little bit lower on Luis Castillo, and then Ranger Suarez would be my third favorite one. This guy has just been absolutely dynamite all season long. We know this Baltimore Orioles offense is pretty potent, but they do most of their damage. They do most of their work against righties. I mean, they just absolutely smash righties. Over the last 30 days, striking out 25% against lefties. Only hit 4 home runs. That's about 200 plate appearances. So Ranger Suarez, tremendous ground ball pitcher. I like him in Camden Yards. I'll stop there, Nades. I know you have some interest in some of those other guys, but it's going to be those big boys at the top for me.
Yeah. I love your breakdown there. For me, Chris Sale, far and away, my SP1 on the slate. If I can afford him, 10-5. Love the matchup. Love how he's looked at home. I actually like the Braves bats a decent amount here at home as well tonight due to the nature of the slate. So I do like Chris Sale a ton. Hunter Green, I think, is fine. I just get scared. I mean, I'm seeing right now on Hunter Green pretty heavy ownership. I mean, all these guys at the top between Castillo, Peralta, Chris Sale, and Hunter Green are all going to kind of take ownership from each other. Freddie and Chris Sale are far and away the two chalkiest options. They're both great plays. I like them both a lot. Quote-unquote chalk on a 12-gamer really isn't nothing to be scared of. I would avoid kind of playing those guys and then the cheap Pirates bats, right? We're going to talk about that. I just don't like loading my entire lineup with chalk, but Chris Sale, hard to poke holes in him. Freddie Peralta, I like him a ton too. Definitely prefer Freddie to Hunter Green. Hunter Green is fine, I think, at the salary savings at $8,300, but I actually like some of the Brewers to target the home run issues that Hunter Green struggles with a little bit. Guys like Willie Adames, things like that. So I'm a little bit lower on Hunter Green. I like Freddie a lot if you can afford him. Chris Sale a ton, obviously. Luis Castillo, I'm just fading Castillo. I'm seeing him pick up some ownership here. The reasoning is, right, he's been at home. He's looked good, right? 28% strikeout rate at home this season. It's a good pitcher's ballpark. But looking at this Texas team over the course of the season on the road, 17% strikeout rate. You got guys like Corey Seager in there, Adolis Garcia, Zeke Duran's hitting the ball a little bit right now. Some of these guys can get to you, and they just don't strike out. So paying a premium $8,600, not a premium, but paying $8,600 up there, I'd much rather drop down to Hunter Green or drop down to the next tier that we're going to talk about in a little bit for cheaper. So I'm out on him. For me, it's really Sale up at the top, Peralta, and then Hunter Green are kind of the guys I'm interested in. I have no interest in Ranger Suarez. I did want to hit on weather here. Kevin Roth over at RG has that game tagged as yellow. So there is a lot of weather concerns overall in the slate. I'll run through it when we go game by game in terms of bats, but that's kind of the reason I'm out on Ranger Suarez. It's also good hitting weather there in Camden, in Baltimore. I just don't like picking on that team. So I get it. I get your reasoning for Ranger Suarez, but as the third highest priced pitcher on the slate, there's expensive bats that I want to pay for. I can't do it. So if I'm going up there, I'm just getting all the way up to Chris Sale personally. And I can't afford to spend up the way I'm going for bats. It's just hard for me to afford two of these spend up guys up at the top. So it's kind of my breakdown up at the top tier. Let's jump down to the lower sub 8K range. I think there's a lot of guys in play here. I'm going to throw out a couple names for you. Number one, Hunter Brown, obviously had a scuffle to start the season, but has looked incredible over the last couple starts. Last 3 starts, I think he's got 23 strikeouts in his last 3 starts as well. Touch on him at just 7,200 gets these Detroit Tigers here. And Tarek Skubal on the mound on the other side. So obviously he's the clear-cut favorite, I think, right now in terms of the Cy Young. Skubal's been absolutely elite all season long. So I think Hunter Brown does get up for this matchup here as well. I think we see a little bit of a pitcher's duel there in Houston. So touch on him. Expect him to get pretty decent ownership down at the lower tier. Touch on Woods Richardson, getting these Oakland A's here coming to town in Minnesota, strike out a ton. And then touch on Andrew Heaney. Those kind of are the three names that I want to throw out. I have interest in all three of them. I like them a ton. And then any of these cheaper guys, I mean, you got Sean Manaea there at 6,200. There's also weather concerns there. Pretty bad weather in New York. That game might get postponed in general. So personally, I can't do it. Just those three guys for me. But maybe you see some additional gems down here as the Hamwich off the wall specials down here.
Yeah, I got this cat watching over me, but hey, there's really only two players that I like down in this range tonight. You said it. Hunter Brown is taking on this Detroit team. Detroit does have some power versus right-handed pitching, but they also strike out a whole bunch. And Hunter Brown pretty much been the tale of two seasons for this guy. I mean, opening up the start of the season, just absolutely got barreled all across the ballpark. Now he's settled down. You talked about his strikeout upside, so I love Hunter Brown tonight. Really good matchup for him, I believe. And then my Hamwich off the wall play is going to be a guy that throws 50% ground balls to both sides of the plate versus the team that's going to be chalky. Yeah, you got it. Mitch Spence, Oakland Athletics against that Minnesota Twins team. I'll pick on them. They always fail as chalk in my opinion. So give me some Spence, not Mitch Smith, Mitch Spence. And then I'm going to be lower on some of those other guys. Woods Richardson, no thank you. I understand Oakland strikes out at an alarming clip. Hey, but Wood Richardson, not really a strikeout pitcher, so I'm not going to go there. Andrew Heaney, no thank you, and his 21% strikeout rate to righties. The Mariners have a ton of pop. I actually have some interest in those Mariners. It's only those two for me, Nate. It's going to be Hunter Brown. It's going to be Mitch Spence, and then I'm not playing anybody else down there. Heard somebody say Logan Allen. Don't think that's the worst play. The Blue Jays are kind of trash versus lefties at home, but hey, it's Mitch Spence and Hunter Brown for me down there.
Yeah, I will counter you in terms of Woods Richardson. Actually, at home this season, he's got a 29% strikeout rate over the course of the season. So he is, I think it's just 7,500 for him here. Obviously, the Twins bats are going to get some ownership here. People like the offense there. So I think he should have some run support there as well. Just looking at this lineup, the A's on the road this season, the whole back half of that lineup, 23%, 36%, 37%, 32, 35, 30% strikeout as a lineup in general, over a 28% strikeout rate on the road this season here. I like the price, so I'm different there. I do like Woods Richardson there. I'm seeing pretty low ownership on him as well. I think he comes in about 10 to 12%, and I'll take my chances there. So I do like him. I love Hunter Brown. Hunter Brown's probably my favorite pitcher on the entire slate at 7,200. Really like him. And then I really like Andrew Heaney, just pitcher's ballpark here, attacking the Seattle offense. I've attacked the Seattle offense all season long. 32% strikeout rate at home this season, and Heaney's been pretty good, especially on the pretty good. And the price point is even better at $7K. So it's those three for me. I see some guys talking about Logan Allen in the chat at 6,500. Personally, I can't do it. I get it, right? This Toronto team has just been horrible. I don't really like Toronto in terms of bats. We'll talk about that in a second. I do think they pick up some ownership as well in terms of offense on this slate. I can't do it. This team just does not strike out. 17% strikeout rate on the season so far for the Blue Jays. So, while I don't like their offense a ton in terms of DFS production, I just don't think Logan Allen can get there when I like Heaney a ton more for a little bit more, Hunter Brown right there, and Woods Richardson. I just don't think I need that $500 savings personally for me. Any thoughts for you on Logan Allen there?
Yeah, he just can't do it. I don't think he's going to has GPP winning upside in my opinion. He doesn't have the strikeouts. Gives up a ton of power, especially to righties. Almost I think it's a 1.7 home run per 9 against righties on the road. So, yeah, no Logan Allen for me.
Yeah, no Logan Allen for me. I see Gang Green in the chat talking about Kyle Bradish. That game has a lot of weather concerns there. It's tagged as yellow right now, so I'm trying to avoid these games that have the weather concerns. San Diego, New York has weather concerns. Philly, Baltimore has weather concerns. And then Coors Field obviously has weather concerns, but I'm not really playing. I'm not playing pitchers there at Coors Field, so I'm less worried about that. So those are kind of the three main games. So I'm trying to stay away from those pitchers. There's 12 games on the slate, 3 of them that people are talking about for pitchers wise that I'm staying away. So I think there's enough other spots personally. So I'm off those weather games for pitching at least personally. Any thoughts on that, Hamwich?
Yeah. Generally speaking, I mean, I haven't looked at Roth here in a minute, but yeah, I mean, if there's weather concerns and it's going to be especially a mid-game delay, definitely don't want any piece of that. And Bradish, obviously, just speaking about him specifically, I mean, him and Suarez, both really good pitchers, but both taking on relatively good offenses. So, depending, I don't know how much we'll have in either one of those games. And then I heard you say the Colorado game. What's the other one right now that's kind of iffy?
The worst one on the slate looks like the Padres and the Mets, personally, which is important from a bats perspective. I don't think we're going to play Waldron or Manaea. At least I didn't have any interest. So from a bats perspective, that is interesting because I would like the Padres bats quite a bit against Manaea personally, but that is the game in terms of right now, how it sits, looking at it, that has the biggest chance for a postpone that I'm seeing. So that's kind of what we're looking at. That covers the pitching. Let's go ahead and rank your top 5 pitchers. I'll do the same, and then we'll go jump to hitters game by game.
Yeah, I'm gonna eat the chalk, and I'm gonna go Chris Sale. I think he is clearly the best pitcher on both sites. So Chris Sale would be 1 for me. Freddie Peralta would be 2 for me. Number 3 for me, and I need to check that weather out now that you say that, but Ranger Suarez would be my 3rd favorite. 4 for me would be Hunter Brown. And then if I had somebody we didn't really talk about, just a wild card, Cole Reagans. I don't mind Cole Reagans, who misses a ton of right-handed bats. We know the Dodgers are really good. He's going to be unowned. That would kind of be my wild card, late night hammer GPP. If I was down, would switch to him. But yeah, Cole Reagans number 5.
Yeah, no, excellent breakdown there. I'm going to go Chris Sale number 1, so I'm with you there. I really like Chris Sale a ton. I'm going Hunter Brown number 2 with the salary saving discount there. I'm going to Andrew Heaney number 3. I'll go Freddie Peralta 4, and then Woods Richardson is going to be my 5th top 5 there for me. Talked about the other guys I had interest in as well. Before we jump over game by game, if you guys are new, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you're just joining in or watching back on playback, be sure, if you're not a member yet, shipitnation.com. Join now. Use that promo code FGWC15. 15% off monthly or annual packages. Good luck to Hoop and Tambo duking it out there this weekend over there. So definitely use that. How much? First game on the slate here we're going to talk about is this Cleveland and Toronto game here at 7:07 Eastern time. Logan Allen on the mound, Kevin Gausman on the mound. These Blue Jays are going to be one of the highest owned offenses in relative to the slate. Nothing alarming. Obviously, Pittsburgh, that Coors Field is kind of the main game, but I do think in terms of chalkier side offenses, Toronto does pick up a decent amount of ownership here. And man, I just haven't gotten Toronto right all year long. Anytime I play them, which is pretty rare, they tend to just do their normal thing and just not do anything. Anytime I'm not on them, and they tend to go nuclear here. So maybe you have a better read on this game than me, but personally for me, I don't really like either side of this game for offense. 12 games, this is one that I'm not really going to get to personally.
Yeah, it's tough. And those Blue Jays are so, like you said, when you stack them, they don't do anything. And then, they don't really do anything after that either. But, hey, they're trotting out 8 righties. And Logan Allen, like I said earlier, 1.7 home runs per 9 innings on the road this season. He's not a very good pitcher by any stretch of the imagination. Gives up a ton of power, obviously. Just looking at some of the Blue Jays guys that I would have interest in. I mean, Davis Schneider. I mean, it'd be minis only for me. I couldn't stomach playing a full 5-man stack of those Blue Jays. So Davis Schneider leading off. Don't mind that. And then we didn't really talk about Gausman. I mean, Gausman has 10 strikeout games in his last 4. This Guardians team doesn't really hit the ball for a lot of power, but they don't strike out either. So I don't have any interest in the Guardians. I don't even think a one-off, J-Ram, one of the better players in the majors, but don't really like the Guardians, and it'd be minis only for me on the Blue Jays side.
Yeah, I'm with you. I like Davis Schneider. Vlad, I think, is fine anytime. Springer, and Varsho, I think is fine. Lefty. He hits lefties pretty good. He'd be the lowest owned probably one in that entire lineup, so I don't hate him. I don't like that, or Danny Jansen as well. I do like he's in there hitting second. Little expensive for me. So minis only. I agree with you there on the Blue Jays. And then Guardian side, you can always play Jose Ramirez as a one-off, but at 6,200 against Kevin Gausman, who I think is a decent real-life pitcher. Obviously, he's been pitching well lately as well. I can't get there. Josh Naylor would probably be my favorite bat from the Guardians if I had to pick one, but realistically, like I said, a game that I don't have much interest in terms of bats. Let's jump back to the game that I did skip here at 7:05, that Phillies and Baltimore game. Bradish on the mound, Ranger Suarez on the mound. In terms of hitting, Kevin Ross says, again, there's some rain, but as of now, models don't show anything truly disruptive. So I do think this game plays, or not. I don't think this game plays. He think this game plays. Sorry, didn't want to take his words there and make a mine. But just reading what I'm looking at from a bats perspective, I mean, two good offenses, right? Two of the better teams in the entire MLB against two real life good pitchers. Good hitting weather here in Baltimore overall. Any interest in terms of hitters from this game here?
Yeah, the Orioles threw us a little curveball, Nades. I was just looking at that lineup. I don't think I've seen it all season. Maybe you have, but Gunnar Henderson cleanup today. Obviously, lefty. Obviously, Rangers been having a great year. Gunner's been having a great year as well. But man, it would be Orioles only for me. I mean, Ryan Mountcastle's a notable lefty masher, but I mean, I have some interest in Suarez, but man, that offense is tough. They've been bad against lefties, like I said, but I'll probably be under on this game, Nates, now that I'm talking through. I mean, these are two really good pitchers. I don't think this game gets above 6-7 runs, so I'm out on this game.
Yeah, I tend to agree there. I'm out on this game as well. I mean, Ryan Mountcastle, anytime against a lefty, you can always play him, right? Historic lefty masher. Gets a pretty good lefty here in Ranger Suarez, but hey, good hitter, good pitcher. One of them's got to win out at the end. Jorge Mateo, I think, is fine at 3,600 as well at second base. He'll steal some bases there, can hit for a little power. James McCann, if you need a punt catcher, another lefty splits guy that hits left-handed pitching well. But personally, for me, no stacks in this game, just one-offs, and really no interest on the Philly side against Kyle Bradish. Obviously, you could play Harper, you can play Schwarber, you can play Stott. Any of the lefties I would look at, but for me, not a spot that I'm going to stack up offense. So you threw something up on the screen there.
Yeah, our guy, P. Dogen Stoner, he batted Gunner. I'm assuming he's batted fourth last time versus a lefty. Good to see that. I didn't know that they did that with him. Maybe I just forgot. So appreciate you throwing that in there.
Okay, yeah, perfect. I also want to give a shout out. Appreciate the super chat there for our guy. Partaking in the 420 festivities every day. It doesn't matter the time. Obviously, based on the username there, he's enjoying life over there. So we appreciate that super chat there. So thank you there, Stoner.
He had Garrett Crochet. He said he had Garrett Crochet ladder Ks last night. And hey, I know they don't get up past 11 or 12. So you were rocking and rolling early and often. He was dominant last night against those strikeout happy Mariners.
Yeah, he was dominant. All right, for sure. Let's jump to this next game here. The worst weather game, I think, on the slate. At least that's what Roth says over there. His latest update, heavy rain early, lighter rain late. Would think it's either a late start and play or a full-on postpone. Obviously, we'd get the postpone news before lock, hopefully, because this game does lock at 7:10, 5 minutes after that first game locks there, the Philly-Baltimore game. So, personally, for me, I don't have interest really in this game. I just hope this game kind of is gross weather conditions wise. If I had to pick a side, it would be some of these Padres, right? The Machados of the world, the Jerks and Profars, the Solanos, the Ha-Dong Kims, Tatises, the righties against Sean Manaea, the power hitting righties. But for me, it's a game that I really don't have much interest in. I just hope it's pretty gross weather. Hope it even gets postponed there. So for me, it's a no-go for me. But do you have any interest here in the Padres and the Mets?
Yeah, this Padres team, man, you would just think they hit more bombs than they do. They just don't hit for much power. I mean, they got Machado, they got Tatis, they got Cronenworth, Kim, they got them all. But, hey, the numbers don't lie, Nades, and they don't hit a bunch of bombs. They play a bunch of small ball. Manaea's no good, so I don't mind minis with them. And then on the flip side, man, I hope this game plays. I really like Francisco Lindor as a one-off at the top of that lineup. Waldron's been a very good pitcher, and that knuckleball's crazy to watch. But I like Lindor a lot. I like Nemo a little bit. So if you were going like a 5-2-1 on DK, I like Lindor and Nemo for the Mets tonight.
Yeah, perfect. Great breakdown there. Let's jump to the next game, a game that I actually do have interest in terms of offense. This team has been scuffling. They've been gross. I get it, but they have a good implied run total here, which doesn't really matter to me. It's more I'm attacking the low strikeouts of Littell here. I like these Atlanta Braves. It's scary. I know. I get it. But, hey, I might go down in flames again with this Atlanta offense, but this is one of my favorite offenses on the slate. And then no Rays for me against Chris Sale. I just can't do it. There's much better spots, in my opinion, and much worse pitchers to pick on here tonight.
The Rays saw a lefty last night in Justin Steele, and, hey, it was not a pretty sight for those Rays. Now they go on the road, take on a much better Chris Sale, better strikeout upside, just better all-around pitcher. So absolutely no Rays for me. And then the Iceman, Zach Littell, does not miss many lefty bats. I'm with you, Nades. I like the lefties more than the righties tonight. He's given up about a 10% barrel rate to lefties, about a 30%. I think it's 28% to be exact. Fly ball rate to lefties. So give me some Matt Olson, Michael Harris in the leadoff spot, I believe, tonight for the Braves. But it would be minis only for me as they don't they struggle, Nades, to put consecutive hits together. I don't know. I mean, Acuna's gone, obviously, but the rest of that lineup is intact from last year for the most part. But, yeah, give me those lefties. 1-2-4 is what I'm looking at tonight. Harris, Albies, and Olson.
Yeah, I like all the lefties. I also like arguably the best hitter on the slate right now as of late, Marcell Ozuna. Obviously, there's no Aaron Judge on the slate. Marcell Ozuna has been absolutely electric at the plate. So I like this whole offense. Jared Kelenic down there in the 8 spot at 3,100 is a nice value. Another lefty there. Wrap it around to the top with the Harris, the Albies, the Ozunas, the Olsons. I really like that. Sean Murphy, I don't mind at 3,700. Just a value catcher. Has historically had some power. Obviously, this whole team's been down overall this season, but I do like this spot as a breakout game here for Atlanta. Overall, let's jump to. Go ahead.
I'm going to steal one of Nate's lines. Hey, Jake, just Venmo Nate your money, man. Just Venmo him your entry fee if you're going to stack the Rays. No, I'm just kidding, Jake. You never know. It's MLB. Hey, for $15, could turn it into a hundo. Hey, this maybe not be a bad bet, but man, that's a tough way of living right there, in my opinion.
Yeah, not for me, not a spot that I'm going to go, but hey, maybe Jake is onto something there. So good luck, Jake. If the Rays go crazy, I will not be winning because I will not have any of them. Hopefully, my other offenses that I like get the job done. So no for me, but hey, who knows? It is baseball at the end of the day. One of the highest variance sports in all of DFS. Let's jump to the next game. Heading out to Milwaukee here. Brewers on the mound. I'll be driving past the stadium here on my way down to Chicago after the show. Getting past through Milwaukee. Hopefully I don't hit all the traffic there going to this game. Hunter Green on the mound. Freddie Peralta, 2 real-life good pitchers overall. Both struggle with some control issues at time. Obviously, they both throw very hard. Struggle with some home run concerns when people do make contact there. I prefer the Brewers side more than the Red side. Personally, for me, I love Freddie Peralta here tonight. He's just been absolutely elite at home. I've said it all season last year. I'm going to continue to say it this year until he proves me wrong. He's got a 36% strikeout rate at home to both sides of the plate. So no Reds for me. I do like some of these Brewers. Willie Adames is probably my favorite play at 4,500 because you get leverage at the position. You go to shortstop. You go to who everyone's going to click, O'Neal Cruz, in Coors Field there against Feltner. I like me some Willie Adames. He's been locked in at the plate right now, 4,500. Got a good price point there. So I do have some interest in some of these Brewers. Not a spot where I'm going to full stack. And it's also a double leverage situation as well. I do think Hunter Green comes in higher owned than what the projected ownership is showing right now, personally.
Yeah, no interest in bats from me. I mean, Freddie looks good. We have Freddie as the highest owned pitcher over on FanDuel anyway, so that was kind of shocking to me. I actually like him a lot on FanDuel just for leverage off of Sale because his strikeout upside is very, very comparable to Sale in my opinion. But yeah, so Freddie Peralta, I like Hunter Green, I think, a little bit more than you do. I think he can get through this Brewers lineup pretty good. They don't strike out a whole ton at home, but I think this is a pitcher's duel. I think this is another 3-2 type game, 4-2 type game. So I'll be off the offenses in this one.
Yeah, I just look at the fly ball to ground ball ratio, right? Obviously, Hunter Green's a huge fly ball rate. He's got the second worst on the entire slate, and these Brewers can hit the ball in the air here as well. So looking at the fly ball guys for me, it'd be Hoskins, it'd be Adames, and Jake Bauers are kind of the three that I'd have interest in. I like that mini stack as well. They should be hitting pretty close to each other, kind of in the middle to back half of that lineup. So I like all three of those guys. Outside of that, not getting to any Reds, not getting to any of these other Brewers personally for me, but I do have interest in those three guys in particular. Next game, another game where I don't have a lot of interest in terms of bats. Tarek Skubal has been elite all season long. Obviously, he's been probably arguably, I think, the best pitcher so far in the majors over the course of the season to this point, but does get a tough matchup here against the Astros, who just don't strike out. You still got Alvarez in there. Obviously, no Kyle Tucker projected right now. I haven't seen the confirmed lineup. If that stays true, helps the case a little bit for Tarek Skubal there, but a game where I just don't have a lot of interest in terms of bats. I like both pitchers. I really like Hunter Brown. Like I said, probably all things considered, my favorite pitcher due to the salary and the matchup on the slate. But any bats for you here in Houston?
Riley Green went off if he's batting second. Yeah, the confirmed lineup is out. Nades, no Tucker. Yeah, no bats for me. You said it. Skubal's awesome. I love Skubal, but not against a team that's striking out under 20% at home against left-handed pitching. No, thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you. We tend to agree there. Another game. We're not a lot of interest from both of us in terms of bats, but this next one, I think it's going to be interesting here. It's at Oakland in Minnesota. Woods Richardson, I had a ton of interest in him. You had interest in Mitch Spence. I think these Twins are interesting. Royce Lewis has been elite since he's returned back from the IR. I really like him a ton. I do have more interest, I think, in these Twins than you do. I like the fly ball guys for Minnesota. And Minnesota has a lot of them. Vasquez, Santana, Castro, Larnach, Kepler, Royce Lewis has almost a 50% fly ball rate, obviously, and has a ton of power there. So I like some of these Twins. They're going to pick up ownership. I don't really like full stack in this team, but I do like 2- and 3-man stacks overall. I think you could 5-man it, but I'm not going to personally 5-man it here tonight. I think you could. So I have some interest in these Twins. No athletics for me personally against Woods Richardson, but I think we're going to probably be different and opposite in this game. If I'm thinking what when you talked pitching breakdown, you had more interest in Spence than Woods Richardson, so I think you probably have some interest in some of these Oakland bats as well.
Yeah, I'm just under on this game in general. I think it's a ground ball fest, not a high strikeout total from either side. Woods Richardson, you just don't know what you're going to get. I think he threw 93 pitches last time out. It was like 68 before that. So I think it's a ground ball fest. Both these pitchers go 5 or 6. Not 2 or 3 strikeouts in my opinion. Low scoring affair tonight. I'll be off both of these offenses and both of these pitchers, honestly.
Yeah, no, great breakdown there. I already touched on the bats that I had interest in from Minnesota. My favorite bat in this entire game would be Royce Lewis. I'd much prefer Royce Lewis at 5,800 than Jose Ramirez up at the top. Royce Lewis, like I said, elite option, huge fly ball guy as well. So Spence's ground ball abilities really don't scare me there too much. Let's jump to the game that everybody wants to talk about here. Highest total on the slate, Coors Field, but both bad offenses here. The only thing is bad pitchers on the mound and a terrible bullpen for the Rockies. More of a bullpen game for the Pirates. Luis Ortiz is going to start the game, but realistically, he's kind of a short inning guy. Only averages right around 2 innings pitched so far over his sample size of the season. So bullpen game for the Pirates. Historically, I just don't like picking on bullpen games here. Pretty gross weather overall in terms of Coors Field. Like I said, scattered showers and storms. Ross says they'll likely make it work either with rain missing or with patience. So it's going to be a long night in Colorado. I think personally, this is a game that I'm under on in bats. I'm fading Coors Field tonight, so you guys can bet the overs on all your local sports books over there, because every time I fade it, it goes off. Every time I play it, it's terrible. this is a spot where I'm fading this game. I think these Pirates pick up a ton of ownership. I just don't think it's very good offense overall. So for me, no interest. If I had to pick a side, I would actually prefer the Rocky side, I think, more than the Pirate side. But a game where I'm under on is overall.
Yeah, I think overall I'm with you on that. I would prefer the Pirates bats in this game. I mean, O'Neal Cruz has a lot of pop, but he also has close to a 40% strikeout. So it's Pirates for me. I saw some chatter about Sawinski in the chat going yard tonight. I think that's, any lefty that you can squeeze in, Reynolds, Cruz, Sawinski, if he's in there, don't mind that. But yeah, give me these Pirates. I think they are up tonight against Ryan Felcher, who's not a very good pitcher. And then no Rockies for me. Yeah, I'm with you. I don't like tacking bullpen games, and Ortiz shouldn't go that long, but we'll see, how he's doing and how long the leash is. But it's Pirates for me. With that being said, I'm a little bit under than what these projected ownerships look like right now.
Yeah, I mean, O'Neal Cruz is fine, obviously, but I think he comes in as the highest owned player on the entire slate. And, I mean, he's got a 40% strikeout rate on the road this season against right-handed pitching. So, for me, like I said, game that I'm under on here. Let's jump to the next game. This is my favorite game on the entire slate. I think it's two terrible pitchers on the mound in Nelson and Flexen. I love the D-backs. They're my favorite stack overall on the entire slate. White Sox are a gross offense here, but Nelson has just been a horrible pitcher. Luis Robert has started to hit the ball. Gavin Sheets, Paul DeJong. I like both sides of this game. Love the D-back side personally, but like I said, like both sides for offense here. Throw it over to you, man. Where are you going in Arizona here? Any White Sox, any Diamondbacks for you?
Yeah, we're in total agreement on this one. I would take this game over the Coors Slate game 10 out of 10 times. I think both of these pitchers are just absolute gas cans. This White Sox team, now, while they strike out a little bit more than we'd like, they also have been hitting a lot better. Robert's obviously helping them out. You said it, Gavin Sheets. Paul DeJong has turned back the clock to his Cardinals days. I love these White Sox. Love the Diamondbacks. I think they scored double-digit runs or close to it twice against the Angels this last week. So, hey, fire this one up. I think this one goes over the posted total as well. My favorite, quote-unquote game stack, if there was such a thing in baseball, would be this one for sure.
With you. I love Christian Walker. I love Lourdes Gurriel. Gabriel Moreno has a nice price point at $3,400 there. My guy Corbin Carroll is back. He's stealing bases. He's hitting bombs. He's projected to bat leadoff here. I just love everything about this game. White Sox side, more mini stacks for me. I do think you could five-man the White Sox. I just think Nelson's horrible. He's got a 12% strikeout rate, gets barreled, just doesn't do anything really. So, like I said, like both sides, prefer the D-back side a ton. Luis Robert, I think, is definitely probably one of my favorite bats on the slate to hit a home run here tonight as well. So let's jump to the next game here. We got 3 games left to talk about here. This is a game where we didn't talk about in terms of pitching when we broke it down. Gavin Stone on the mound. Cole Reagans, you mentioned him a little bit here. Gets a tough matchup here in Dodger Stadium. I have interest in the Royals here. I think they get overlooked. I don't think Gavin Stone's a very good pitcher overall. Obviously, he has a short leash like the rest of the Dodgers pitchers do over there in LA. These Royals, I like playing them more at home here, but I think they're a sneaky spot here tonight. Guaranteed 9th at bats as well. It's just more a matchup against Gavin Stone. And when we look at offense in general on the slate, there's really no quote-unquote spots that are can't-miss spots, right? And that's kind of why everyone's flocking to the Pirates in Coors Field there and like the Blue Jays and the Twins. So this is a spot where I wouldn't be surprised to see the Royals as one of the highest-scoring teams, highest-scoring offenses on the slate. Not my favorite offense, but in terms of ownership, nobody's going to go to them, and I like them a decent amount here.
Yeah, I mean, once again, I'm with you. I mean, hey, we always talk about late night, Friday night doyers, if you will, going up against Cole Reagans, who's a very good real-life pitcher. Now he's going on the road to take on this Dodgers team. And I look at the last 30 days numbers against lefties. They're mashing left-handed hitters, and they're going to be virtually unowned, the like of Mookie Betts. Cole Reagans does not miss any left-handed bats. So obviously, you got Shohei and Freeman. You got Will Smith, hopefully back in the lineup tonight. I think these Dodgers are sneaky nades. It's Friday night. I'll be long gone in bed. Hoop will be long gone in bed, but hopefully we wake up to a Doyer stack taking off. And then, yeah, Bobby Witt Jr., can I interest you in some sub 5%? Bobby Witt Jr. and the rest of this Royals team has been very good against right-handed pitching against some guy named Gavin Stone. Sign me up for that one. I like that game better than Coors as well.
Yeah, I'm with you there. And looking at the numbers, I mean, it's only 17 plate appearances against left-handed pitching, left-handed hitters. I get it, lefty isn't scary, but when you got two of the best lefty hitters in all of baseball, in Ohtani and Freeman, they're going to be virtually unowned here. So I don't mind those guys. And then obviously these righties smash left-handed pitching too for the Dodgers on the back of Will Smith and Teo Hernandez. Kiki Hernandez in there as well. So I do like this game quite a bit on both sides. I prefer the Royals side, obviously. Just I think Gavin Stone's the worst pitcher of the bunch. But this is a game where I could see being sneaky and a late-night hammer here at virtually no ownership on either side. So I do like it quite a bit. This next game I have no interest in personally for bats. I just like both these pitchers. Castillo I was fading just due to the price point and the Rangers just don't strike out a lot. Andrew Heaney, one of my favorite pitchers on the slate at his price point as well. No interest in bats for me in this one. One-off Corey Seager, if he's in there, I think is fine. Haven't seen that lineup come out there, but he was in the projected lineup. So we'll see how that shakes out. But realistically, a spot where I'm not getting to for offense here in Seattle.
Yeah, this is where we differ, Nate. So, yeah, no Rangers for me. No Castillo. You said they strike out not very much, but I love these Mariners tonight taking on Andrew Heaney. Does not strike anyone out, about 20%. Give me these Mariners. Give me Dylan Moore. Give me Cal Raleigh. Who else was it that I saw that I liked? I know it was Dylan Moore. I know it was Cal Raleigh. Mitch Garver, notable lefty masher. Give me him. Make sure he's in the lineup. I'm all over these Mariners tonight, Nate. Like him as a 3-man more than a full 5-man.
Yeah, I mean, lefty mashers in there, but the only issue is they got to put the barrel on the ball to kind of mash that baseball. And sitting at a 33% strikeout rate at home this season against left-handed pitching, I'll take my chances as a $7,000 pitcher when I want to spend up for offenses. So we do differ there, but hey, it's baseball nonetheless. It's not an elite ace by any means in Andrew Heaney. It's more of a price play for me. And the matchup, I'll continue to pick on the Seattle team. Garrett Crochet mowed him down. Obviously, two different caliber pitchers, but this team is just scuffling right now at the plate. So for me, we differ there. Let's jump to this next game here, and it's a game where historically and usually I don't have a lot of interest in this ballpark here. It is the greatest hitting conditions, if you will, on the slate. There's like 20-mile-an-hour winds blowing out. The only issue is the ballpark really kind of the wind swirls above the stadium, so it doesn't really affect the baseball. I like some of these Giants against Tyler Anderson. I think he's got regression coming. I just don't think he's any good. He's going to get barreled here. It just doesn't strike anybody out, especially on the road this season. I like some mini stacks here. Matt Chapman, Jorge Soler, Heliot Ramos. Those three bats a lot from the Giants side. And then on the Angels side, I think Taylor Ward's an interesting play. Logan O'Hoppe is an interesting play. So a couple of 2-man and 3-man and one-offs in this game for me, just due to the overall weak lacking offense personally that I'm seeing on this slate.
Hey, you said it. I don't need to say anything else. Anderson's going to regress. The Giants over the last 30 days and 14 days been absolutely mashing left-handed pitching. They're going to be unowned late night. I always say I'll never stack in this stadium. I hope I'm not regretting that tonight because I love these Giants tonight. Hey, they're not going to be I don't know what, Nate, sub 10%. I mean, they're not going to be highly owned, but I love them tonight. Give me some of these Giants. It looks like there's no Royce tonight for Minnesota. So hey, Mitch Spence creeping on up there. Royce Lewis, he has a hangnail tonight, so he's not going to play. The oft-injured Royce Lewis can't stay healthy, so he's taking the night off.
Yeah, he's taking the night off. Hopefully Mitch Spence is taking the night off as well there. So interesting there. That does help your gross call of Mitch Spence. Hey, you always pick these gross calls that I laugh at you for, and at the end of the night, sometimes they come through. So who knows? But yeah, that is a hurt to that Minnesota offense a lot there. But I'm with you. Yeah, I like these Giants a lot here tonight. Mainly the righties for me. Flores, right? Chapman, Soler, Ramos. I like those guys a lot. more of a mini stack. I just don't like 5-man stacking in this ballpark here. But I do like the power hitters. Matt Chapman, probably my favorite play in this game overall. That's all 12 games. Talk pitching, talk game by game here. Broke it down in depth. We talked about the weather. Obviously, monitor that weather leading up to lock here. The main games to pay attention to are that Coors Field game. The worst game on the slate, I think, in my opinion, or not my opinion, but Ross' opinion, is that Mets game, that Padres-Mets game there. The other games with some concern, right? Philly, Baltimore, those are the 3 main games with weather concerns on the main slate. Hamwich, Friday night. We've had good success with these home run calls on Friday night. I'm going to throw it over to you. Your home run call of the evening.
I'm gonna give 2 because one of them has some weather. I'm gonna give 2 nades. First one, we're gonna see that ball coming in there like this. It's gonna be a little knuckleball. Francisco Lindor is gonna smack it over the right field wall. Francisco Lindor, my first home run call of the day. Number 2, and you're gonna love this one even more. Mitch Garver, notable lefty masher. He's going to smash one over the left field wall. Give me Mitch Garver to take chalk Andrew Heaney deep tonight.
All right. Well, I will not be going to any Mariners. Where I am going to my favorite offense on the slate, Christian Walker. Book it. I mean, that's too easy right there. And then my low-owned one against a pitcher who I think comes in higher owned than anticipated here. It's a shortstop. It's a double leverage situation here. O'Neal Cruz, the highest owned player on the entire slate. I'm going to save some salary. I'm going to outscore him as well. Willie Adames, 4,500 there, projected to bat cleanup as well. So a 4-pack combo here for me tonight. Hopefully they both hit it long. You can probably parlay those guys together and get really good odds there. And, hey, maybe you don't need to play DFS the rest of the season. You throw $10 on there. Probably got some pretty good odds. So that's going to do it for this edition of the Witching Hour Show, brought to you by SHIPIT Nation. If you are not a member, like I said, use that promo code FGWC15, get you 15% off any monthly or annual packages. But we appreciate everyone watching. Good luck tonight in your contest. Hope to see those SHIPIT Nation logos at the top. We'll be back on Monday with the same crew here. Quick hits over the weekend, and obviously we got you covered with all content. Our Stone is updated as lineups get updated, our rankings, right, our projections, everything. We got you covered all weekend, and with the quick hits by my guy here, Hamwich. We'll see you back on Monday live here on this channel, same time. Good luck tonight in those contests. For Hamwich, I'm Nadesify. We'll catch you guys next time.